What is up everyone, Ryden here, welcome to the channel. Now a quick intro before we get in the video. Just want to let you guys know that I'm new to the whole YouTube stuff, and English is also not my main language, so expect some errors. Also, I lost a lot of my gameplay, so I'm only left out with these two. Enjoy. Now we're gonna start off with the good things. Yeah, a huge concern the community had with the beta is that people thought this is not gonna feel like Call of Duty. This is a ripoff, which is completely wrong. The game felt like a Call of Duty game with huge map, a lot of players, vehicles, which is a new take, a tactical, added some tactical aspect in the game, because we all know Call of Duty isn't really tactical, isn't as tactical as CS:GO or Rainbow is. So yeah, that is a really good thing. Add a fresh take on the game. Um, the guns are really well balanced. The recoils are certain recoils that you can get used to. They're not really hard to control, but still they're not easy to control, giving a skill gap between the players. Also, lucky kills don't seem a part of this game. I haven't got killed by like BS lucky kills in this game at all. Well, of course they can happen, but they're not as often as other games. Uh, Another good thing they did is variety. They added a huge variety, different map from older Call of Duty games, new maps, new takes. The wingsuit is awesome. The parachuting mechanic, which a lot of people didn't seem to understand at first, but it is actually really easy to get the hang of. Uh, Wingsuiting can get you like through half of the map if you know how to manage it, which is really cool. Um, Another thing is attachments are really awesome. It adds a new take on modding your guns mid-battle, choosing what's fitting and what's not. Suppressors are actually a viable choice. Finally, it's not only to hide you from the minimap, because gunshots are really loud in this game. So you can actually use a suppressor, and it could benefit you a lot, which is really good. Another thing is perks. Now perks, there's two sides of perks. Some good perks, some bad perks, some OP perks. But the idea of perks is really good, but they need some tweaking, which I'll be talking about in the other section of the video. The consumables, the R1s, as I like to call them. Most of them are balanced, apart from two, which I'll be discussing in the other part of the video. Healing is really good in this game. Gives little to no advantage, and the only advantage you can get is by using a trauma kit, which isn't really rare. So yeah, really like this. Another good thing is they actually patched at first when the game launched, there weren't as much weapons when you drop down, so a lot of times you could drop down and get killed by someone who had a gun while you walk into a house with little to no guns. But they patched it. It's all good now. Yeah, so that's a really good quick response from Treyarch. The armor idea I'm not really keen on. That's why I'll be moving it to the other part of the video. And yeah, pretty much adding Easter eggs, adding zombies, adding special issue weapons. The game did a really good job on being adding a new stuff, stepping up the whole battle royale thing into a next level, and still maintaining the Call of Duty spirit, the feeling that you're playing a Call of Duty game, not some sort of a new battle royale game. Now, hopefully that covers it for the good things. Now, I can keep on talking about the good things. But yeah, oh, another thing, I'm sorry. Vehicles are really well balanced. Well, most of them are in solo. I will be discussing them a little bit later in the video. Vehicles are really balanced. You get a lot of noise for using them, but they still a really good way to transport. And they're not OP. It's not like if you pick up a vehicle or something, you're gonna win the game. Really well done on the vehicles. Yeah, and the zone. Well, the zone is. I like how they made it. I like how they made it not random 100%, but there's still some randomness that I will mention in the other part of the video. Hopefully that's gonna be it for the good things. I'm sorry if I missed some. Now let's move on to the bad things, which is kind of more important. Constructive criticism. Now, first thing is, first of all, I want to talk about is two consumables that I find really overpowered. No, this is a personal opinion of mine, which are the Nine Bang and that sounded actually German. I said Nine. So the Nine Bang and the Cluster Grenade. Two of those consumables are, you know, arguably overpowered. The Cluster Grenade has a lot of area of effect, and its detonation is really, really fast. And the Nine Bang is also has a really large area of effect, and the blindness is actually OP. So yeah, hopefully we can see some tweaking on those. Another thing is some perks. Some perks seemed completely useless, and perks like Dead Silence and Awareness are 100% overpowered, especially Awareness. Also, Dead Silence is overpowered, but Awareness, like the hearing abilities you will get, you can hear stuff from like miles away. I'm not even kidding. They need to redo some perks. Also, perks like Brawler are completely useless, zero use for them. Other perks that I found completely useless, even if I activate them, I've never actually saw their use. Maybe it's just me, but I actually really think that a lot of perks are useless. Another thing I wanted to talk about is ammo. Now, ammo, I couldn't settle on the ground here. I saw that you couldn't carry a lot of ammo, but at the same time it is really available everywhere. So it's kind of here and there. You would use a lot of ammo if you want to take down a vehicle. It's like a couple of mags, but you only get to carry like, what is it, 5 mags or 6 mags? I don't have the statistics on my hands right now, so I might not be completely sure about this, but I think some tweaks are kind of needed for ammo. Uh, One other thing is, and of course, I know a lot of people talked about this, but armor. And now I'm gonna offer a solution for armor. I think armor should have more durability than it does, or at least make it. I heard this from a YouTuber, which I actually forget the name of. I'm sorry, but if you're watching this, props to you. Uh, they mentioned that armor should have, for example, the player carrying an armor will die before the armor breaks, which makes sense, in case, aside from making them heal themselves. But in a 1v1, the player will actually run out of health before the armor runs out of durability, which, gives the other player kind of a reward for taking you down. Because as you can see in the clip, or maybe not this clip, but as you can see, this game puts you at a disadvantage for getting into too many fights, especially in smaller areas. Now, it happened to me a lot where I get into fights against other people. Both of our armors break, you know, especially if that armor is like 1 fight old or 2 fight old. And when my armor breaks and I kill the other dude, basically his armor also broke. Uh, I'll just stay there without armor, and usually I'll have my health down. So I need to heal up with no armor, waiting for other people to come and kill me, which is a really, really, in my opinion, a stupid thing. Another thing is also a lot of people mention this looting system. It puts you at a huge disadvantage, and this goes into the fact that I said that this game puts you at a disadvantage for basically being aggressive and fighting other people. Like, I think camping is much more powerful in this game, unfortunately, which can be tweaked. As I said, you'll be left out with little armor, basically no armor, no loot, because you most of the time you won't be able to loot the people you killed, because the looting system puts you at a major disadvantage, because you can't basically get yourself covered in this game. So unless you kill someone inside of a house, looting them will always kill you. You will always die if you loot someone outside of a house. Another bad thing I want to talk about, which you will see an example of in this game, basically the storm. Uh, the storm at the end of this game will do something really stupid, which I wanted to see by yourself, so we'll postpone that until then. I also want to touch on a major issue towards the minimap. Now, I found if you're rocking the square minimap, you're actually at a disadvantage if you use the sensor dart. Now, when you use the sensor dart, of course, you're gonna get the icons of your opponents on the map. But with the square minimap, sometimes the icons can cover your own player icon, which will basically, you will not know in which direction you're heading. If the enemy is behind you, in front of you, on your right, on your left, because their icon will completely cover yours. Now, this can be solved by making your minimap circle. But I've known a lot of people that prefer a square minimap, and basically it did not work for them, so they had to go with the circle minimap. Um, Another thing I saw is wingsuit did not work for me in like multiple occasions, where the wingsuit just did not work. I've jumped off one of the largest buildings in the game, and it just didn't work. So yeah, that's also a bad thing. And as you can see in the gameplay, I actually managed to get into the top 5 people just by running through the storm, which is a thing that I tell you about. And actually, most of the people I'll kill here, I'll get up a couple of picks, and you'll see that the people I kill usually have no armor and low heals, which proves to say that you know getting into a lot of fights will actually put you at disadvantage in this game. So as we're approaching the final moments of this clip, I also want to talk about the wall that you can put down. I forgot its name actually. The wall with the concussion that it can do. The microwave wall. That's how I call it. It's really buggy, and it doesn't work unless it's on a soft surface. It doesn't work if you're fighting on a rough terrain, which I find really stupid. I mean, you can only use it inside of buildings. Well, at least in my experience. So yeah, that's a really bad thing. And as you can see, like I take down this guy. Poor guy had no armor, just because he was in the top 3, and I believe he got into a lot of fights, and basically he can't get armor anymore. And you can see the guy on top of the mountain just camping there. He has, I think, level 3 armor, which I'm not really sure of, but we'll be seeing that in a moment now. Now, as you can see, the storm is kind of going towards the upper left side of the screen. Now, as I make it out of the storm, I find a guy. Poor guy had 0 armor. He was really low. Take him down. And this goes to prove my point of basically how bad the looting system is. I was actually about to loot him, but I said no. I was getting suppressed fire from the guy up top. So I'm standing here, 50 health, no heals, damaged armor. Basically nothing I can do in this point. So yeah, basically it gets to a heal off situation. Well, not really, because he has height advantage in it. And yeah, so basically the zone takes all of my health, and easy win for him. Hopefully this can be tweaked into more reasonable situations, more neutral situations.